Leader, just so that I'm clear, the point of this bill is that if in a federal bankruptcy proceeding for one of our municipalities or units of government, these bonds will then become they get a statutory lien, so they cannot be attached by they can't be adjusted by the bankruptcy court.
I don't think that this is intended to apply in a bankruptcy. I think it's to give another tool to home rule municipalities to manage their debt, manage their responsibilities. And the idea is that the bond market would look favorably upon the money that was organized in a separate location under a different name from the municipality itself.
Okay, and I guess I'm looking at page 9 and 10 of the bill. It talks about the fact it's a statutory lien, having the meaning that term is given under 11 U.S.C. 101 sub 53 of the Federal Bankruptcy Code. And it's my understanding the reason for the better interest rate is because these bondholders would be put first in line in bankruptcy court.
Well, they would be first in line in terms of debt repayment, I believe. So, I mean, the analogy I used was build Illinois bonds. We got a lower rate of interest on those bonds because they were backed by segregated sales tax revenue. So the same concept would apply here.
Fair enough. And this, I'm going to go to the bill, but please know of my great respect for this. This is actually, of any of the debates we've had today, one that is probably the most theoretical and most philosophical. Because the issue is, should we be adding to debt that would be outside the scope of bankruptcy for our municipalities and units of government? I happen to think that when you're looking at the great public pension obligations that we have, the obligations to provide streets and sanitation and police service and fire service and all of that, those can be negatively impacted in a bankruptcy proceeding. Our pension obligations to our first responders, those would fall behind these bonds and these bond houses out of New York City and elsewhere if we were to put this into place. And I understand we don't want anyone to go into bankruptcy, but we obviously have been debating that topic for several years. We know it's of something that down the line probably is going to have to happen for at least some of our units of government, hopefully not soon, but it appears it's going to be something. And so adding to the indebtedness that's not going to be available to provide vital public services to folks, that's going to be able to provide pensions to our first responders, I just, as a philosophical matter, again, not doubting any of the good faith of the folks who support the bill, but as a philosophical matter, it doesn't seem like something that we ought to be doing at this time, at least not without further debate and a little more consideration of what are we going to do to preserve those pensions, preserve our basic police and fire services, our sanitation services in our municipalities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.